What's going on, Jerome's? So, yes, before we get why you still talk about Kirk Cousins? Well, Kurt actually led to something that's very interesting. And yes, the past is the past is the past. But what could have been? And also, I'm a big fan of history, especially draft history. So let's get into this. So, yes, Kurt had some good times, bad times, mainly bad. It happens, man. But Kurt took his talents to Atlanta this offseason. Did you know that his wife Julie's from Georgia? But then, of course, I mean, yeah, you feel bad for Kurt, except you don't because they gave him $100 million guaranteed. But they did draft his replacement, Michael Penix Jr., number 8 overall. So Kurt was on Bussin With the Boys with Taylor Lewan as well as Compton. So he was asked basically about the succession plan, right? And if he would have gone to Atlanta and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And he brought up an interesting aside about his time with the Vikings, notably the 2021 draft. Vikes fan page put this together. Kirk Cousins on NFL team succession plans, quote, 3 years ago, Clint Kubiak, who was quarterback's coach at the time, Little Cubes, called me a few hours before the draft telling me we may draft a quarterback. Teams are always thinking about succession plans. So, of course, that's interesting. And, of course, 2021, everyone is assuming that the Vikings were eyeing Justin Fields, which, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. And looking back at the 2021 draft, so the Vikings were originally at 14, right? So the Vikings, I think if Fields would have fell to 14, they probably would have drafted him, right? Now, yes, everyone and their mom is going to get into, well, they tried to trade up with the Panthers, except the Panthers said no, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I get it. But honestly, if the Vikings had wanted to trade up from 14 to 8, and it was Justin Fields who they're eyeing, I think they could have got it done because later the Bears did jump from 20 to 11 with the Giants to go up and get Justin Fields. And remember, Bears fans are all like, "Oh, we got a guy, and the Vikings wanted him so bad." Where's all that chirping gone? Oh, how'd that work out with Justin Fields? Oh, he was just like every single other rookie quarterback with the Bears, and just like how Caleb Williams got to turn out. So that was my thinking at the time, where if the Vikings truly wanted Justin Fields and Prete, Ricky Spielman, and Mike Zimmer, they were sold that he was the guy. They had the ammunition. They could have gone up and got him, except they didn't. And ultimately, I do think that the Vikings are trying to trade up to 8 for J.C. Horn. I think that's what they were doing. What's up, Sylvie? Because, of course, Zimmer can't get enough cornerbacks, and I think that was the ultimate target, hence why it certainly could have been one of the reasons why the Panthers could have decided, no, we're good here, or maybe the Vikings are trading up for Surtain. And yes, there's speculation that maybe it's Rashawn Slater, sure, and obviously the Vikings were in the market for offensive tackle since they did trade down through. By the way, Rick Spielman doesn't get enough credit for this being his masterclass of where he was at 14, was able to trade down to 23, lucked out when the Raiders drafted Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama, which I don't even think Leatherwood's on a 90-man roster right now. I think he's out of the league. And then the Vikings were able to land Christian Darrisaw at 23, and Darrisaw is quickly becoming one of the best young left tackles in the game. Now, yes, I mean, 2021 was the final year of Zimmer and Cousins. Well, Zimmer and Spielman with Cousins, and Kirko had 2 seasons with Kevin O'Connell and whatnot. But also, looking at the Vikings 21 draft class, I mean, the Vikings ultimately did end up drafting a quarterback in the 3rd round, number 66 overall, Kellen Mond, which, but also, I mean, so this was the final draft for Spielman and Zimmer, and this draft was supposed to be it, man. This draft, especially that 3rd round, that run of quarterback of the future, Kellen Mond, Chaz Surratt, older but physical freak linebacker, Wyatt Davis, no matter what, was going to solidify the interior. I don't even think Wyatt Davis is on a 90-man roster right now. The hell happened? Patrick Jones II was supposed to be the next Everson. He's still here in a contract year. King Kene. King Kene is the best kick returner in the National Football League. Cameron Bynum, Cam Beasley, converted to safety, is doing damn well. Janarius, no. ISM, well, not here, but no. Zach Davidson, no. And Jalen Twyman hasn't worked out. But, I mean, especially that 3rd round, like, So this is what I point to when people piss them off. I was like, well, the Vikings don't have 3rd and 4th round picks. Okay, go ahead. So of the 7 3rd and 4th round picks that the Vikings had 21, Mond, Surratt, Wyatt Davis, Jones, King Kene, Beasley, and Janarius. I mean, Beasley's the only true blue bona fide starter. King Kenny is great in an ancillary role, and everyone else is whatever. I mean, PJ2 has had some moments, but everyone else truly is whatever. So I ain't scared. I ain't concerned about it. But I think that, going back to what Kirko said, like, were the Vikings in on a quarterback in the first round? Sure. I mean, it potentially could happen, and the Vikings were ultimately in on quarterback when they drafted Kellen Mond. So I think it's more Clint Kubiak, him as quarterbacks coach, not maybe not fully in that room. Or wait, no, he was OC at the time. Really doesn't matter. But maybe it's not him just in that draft room, but they certainly did their homework at the pro days, at the combine, and whatnot on quarterbacks, and that was the heads up. But I don't know, like, I think it's a spot where if the Vikings had stayed at 14 and if Fields had fallen into their lap, sure. But again, this is an interesting draft class because quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3, Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. No pants. Could you just imagine if the 2024 draft turns out like this? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it would be fun. Actually, let's pull that up. So 2024, so Williams is Trevor Lawrence, where he's okay, but certainly not a superstar. Jaden Daniels turns into Zach Wilson. Drake May turns into Trey Lance. It's unfortunate. Let's see here. Penix is Fields. And was there a fifth quarterback in this draft? Doesn't matter. No. And then J.J. McCarthy turns into Tom friggin' Brady. That's all, man. That's all. But again, at the end of the day, is it that important? Not really, but it is fun, like how knife edge of history some things are, because hell, maybe the Vikings were in on Fields, and maybe the trade up to 8 actually was legit, even though I still have my reservations, and I still think that Zimmer was trying to trade up for a cornerback, or Spielman was trying to trade up. Actually, Zimmer and Spielman probably hate each other at this point, so maybe they were trying to trade up for Kyle Sluter. I don't know. I don't know, man. But either way, at the end of the day, it didn't work out. The Vikings didn't end up with Justin Fields. And again, where are all the Bears fans who were thumping their chests? We got Fields and you didn't. Shut up. Shut your faces. But obviously, it worked out in the end. I mean, Kurt got paid. He's going to have to compete with Penix. It's whatever. But also, the Vikings got a 21-year-old blonde future franchise quarterback that we could build around for a long time. I'm good with that. Certainly good with that. But your thoughts are thoughts. No, he's not Kirk anymore. Kirk Cousins implies that the Vikings were interested in a quarterback in 2021, potential succession plan, and ultimately they did. Let your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.